AI and ChatGPT is going to fundamentally change the way that consumers search for information on the internet. It's going to change the way that you and I work on the internet. It's how we access the world, the world's information. It's going to change everything. And what we're going to talk about today is probably the most important thing that we're going to talk about uh, or that we can talk about is AI going to know who you are when it takes over search? And that's what we're going to talk about today. What we're really talking about is building bionic bios using ChatGPT. But I'm going to first start off by telling you why we're doing this class. So, this is a good friend of mine, Scott Nicholson. He's the owner of Lender Launchpad. He's been in the industry for probably 20 plus years. He's got a really, really good reputation in the industry. He's well known for seller buy downs. He's kind of the godfather of seller buy downs. Everything I learned about it, I learned from him. And then he built this incredible product called Lender Launchpad. And when I asked ChatGPT for who is Scott Nicholson in the mortgage industry, it doesn't know. So the data set only goes up to September 2021. That's a little bit scary. So then I tried to use the live chat GPT and I said, who is Scott Nicholson in the mortgage industry? And it found Scott Nicholson all right, but it's not my friend Scott Nicholson. It's a different Scott Nicholson at a different lending company in a different state, but it thinks it's him. Now, something I want to introduce you to is a site called perplexity.ai. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I like this. First of all, it's connected to the internet and it can search either the live internet, it can search academic papers, it can search YouTube, Reddit, and I think there's another place that it can search. But this is an example of what internet search is going to look like when AI takes over. And what you see here is you see separate different citations. So I asked it, who is Scott Nicholson in the mortgage industry? And it actually found the right Scott Nicholson. And it found his bio on a company that he used to work for, doesn't work for them anymore. It found his bio on Lender Launchpad, which is his product, which is great. And it found his bio on LinkedIn. So the only way that the AI was able to find him was from his bios from these three websites. But if you look underneath here, the related searches, it says, how do I contact Scott Nicholson for mortgage advice? And I clicked on that. And it was not our Scott Nicholson. It was this other guy in another state working at another company. So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about basically protecting yourself around protecting yourself from when AI takes over. So here's something that you need to understand. Every example that I've seen of search being integrated or AI being integrated into search, it's pushing down the search engine results. So what used to be page one of your Google search engine results is now page two, and page one is going to be this AI response. Now, if you can't be found on Google or on YouTube, you're not going to be found by AI. And that's something that I really want to drive home. And that's the real reason why we're doing this, because at a bare minimum, Google is going to be able to find your profiles on your social websites, but it's not going to be able to penetrate your social activity. Right now, when you do a Google search, you don't find Facebook posts or LinkedIn posts or anything like that. You can find YouTube videos. We're starting to see TikTok videos. I just saw an article today that said that Google's going to start showing more short form videos, but it's not showing your activity on a social platform. So that's what we're talking about today, is being a content creator. And I've been anchoring really deep into ChatGPT to help that as an assistant to help us amplify our creativity and our content so that we can be found when AI fundamentally changes the way that the world interacts with the information available on the internet. So What we're talking about here is improving your reach. And the easiest way to improve your reach and reputation is to purposely publish content that is current and accurate. And that's what we're going to do in today's episode. So, today we're going to build a bionic bio. Now, I'm going to give you a link to this bio. So, this is my Lender Launchpad bio. And this was an experiment. So, this is the bio that we're going to be building. You can't read it here, but you're going to be able to read it when you click on the link. Not only when you click on the link, I don't want you to just read this cool bio, but I'm also going to have all of the prompts that I'm going to talk about today, all of the advanced prompts that we're using on this experiment. I'm also going to have available on that page so that you can copy and paste, and you can run this experiment, or you can build bionic bios across all of your platforms yourself so that you can be found with the new AI search. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about two different methods for building your bio in ChatGPT. And ultimately what we're going to try to do here is we're going to build a long form bio or an about page. So we want to build the biggest, most robust bio that we can with the maximum number of characters and keywords, so that when we're found, there's a lot of information available to us. So the best example of this is if you're a Lender Launchpad client, your about page, any of your social platforms, your LinkedIn, your Facebook, your Google My Business. If you have a personal website or a company website, you're going to want to update these bios across everywhere. We're going to start with a long form bio, and then we're going to ask it to create short form bios for our different social media platforms. And then what we're going to do, this is really fun. We're going to bedazzle your bio with temperature and talent. So we're going to show you how to be a little bit more creative with your bios, or how to teach ChatGPT to be a little bit more creative. And then we're going to show you how to hire out talent so that you can have famous people basically read your bio for you, and that gets really fun. And then we'll create short bios for social media platforms. And we just discussed being found on AI powered search, decided to lead with that, so that should have been on the top, but nonetheless we shall keep going. So there's two methods for building your bios. The first method is to feed ChatGPT all of your existing bios and about page copy. I'm going to show you how to do that. The other way we can do it is we can ask ChatGPT what questions it wants us to answer in order for it to create a bio for us. And we're going to do both of those. So what I'm going to show you today is we're going to train it on an existing bio and about copy. So this is what I did for my experiment. So I'm going to use my LinkedIn, my Facebook, my YouTube bios. We're also going to pull in Google reviews. I'm going to feed it my Google reviews so that ChatGPT not only knows what I'm saying about myself and about what I do, but I also want it to see what my clients are saying about me as well. That's equally, if not more important. And then the experiment that we did to start is ChatGPT who is. And this is the experiment that I want you to do. Who is your name in your industry? So if you're watching this and you're a real estate agent, who is my name in real estate? Who is my name in mortgage? And see what ChatGPT comes back with. If you've published a lot of content prior to September 2021 and it comes out with a bio. So when I do that, I get a really, really good bio. I've been blogging for over 15 years. I've done a lot of public speaking. I've been at a lot of events. I've written a lot of articles for industry magazines. So there's a lot of information about me on the internet. If I ask who Scott Shang is in the mortgage industry, and you can even try that if you want, who is Scott Shang in the mortgage industry, I get a really good bio. So I would try that. You're going to take that copy and you're going to also feed it to ChatGPT so that it has even a little bit more information. So here's the setup prompt. The setup prompt is, I want you to write a new long form bio for my website. I'm going to give you examples of bio. I'm going to give you examples of bio and about me copy that I want you to use as source materials and to learn about how I describe myself now. Do not create the output yet. Let me know that you understand the copy I'm giving you, and tell me when you're ready to give you more copy. So you're going to notice this is something that we touched on our last episode or a couple episodes ago when we talked about how to teach ChatGPT to sound like you, where we were feeding it multiple prompts. So that's what we're doing here today too. We're saying, this is what I want you to do. I'm going to feed you multiple sources of information. Do not create output yet. Do not write any bios yet. I just want you to let me know that you've received it and that you're ready to receive more. And then I'm not going to show you any more of these. I'm going to show you my prompts, but I'm not going to show you the results, because the point is not what my bio is. The point here is what the prompts are for you to run this experiment and do your bio. So, but what you will see, what you should see, is ChatGPT coming back with something saying, I understand you want me to write a new long form bio, and you're using the provided materials. I'll study them. I'll study the given copy, and I'll learn about how you describe yourself currently. Please go ahead and give me the copy. So I started with LinkedIn. And I said, here's a copy of my LinkedIn profile. So LinkedIn, you have like a headline with just a bunch of words that describe yourself, and then you have your about page, or your about copy. And that's what I did. So I copied both of those, I pasted them in there, and then I put my my prompt at the bottom. Do not write the bio yet. Let me know that you understand and you're ready for more copy. So I click that, and it says, I understand, I'm ready for more copy. So it says, here's what your bio says. Here's the information in your bio. I'm ready for more information. So then I drop in my Facebook, and I copied and pasted my Facebook about bio in there. Same thing. Do not write the bio yet. Let me know that you've received this and that you're ready for more copy. Then what I did is I went to my Google review. So this is a widget on my website. So I expanded each one of those, and I got the entire review. Several of these are several hundred words long. So they wrote like an actual book. So that's what you want to do, is find your reviews that talk about, maybe they had a hardship. Maybe you helped them. Maybe they were told no by other lenders. Maybe you're a second opinion loan officer. And so a lot of your reviews are, this person helped me when I was told no. That's incredible information to feed ChatGPT, to let them know what kind of person you are, what kind of business you run. So I went and I found all of my Google reviews, and I tossed those in there. So I think I also put my YouTube bio in there. I don't have the prompt for that, but it's the exact same prompt. You just put, you're going to change the name of the platform, and you're going to paste the about, and you're going to say, just let me know what it is. So now I'm ready to have it write me a long form bio. So I said, great. Please write me a long form bio for Scott Shang, written in a professional tone. The mood is informative and the temperature is 0.8. Now, my good buddy Mark Madsen introduced me to temperature. I had seen temperature, but I hadn't used it. It's pretty common in the playground for OpenAI. You don't see it on ChatGPT though. You won't see the temperature, but the temperature is basically a scale of 0 to 1 that determines how much creative license ChatGPT is going to take. So if you're making it a 1 or a 0.8, like what I did, 0.8 is going to be pretty creative. It says right here that the output can be quite random. The model generates more diverse outputs and can take more creative liberties, but it may also make more mistakes. So as you increase the temperature, and if you can see here, oh, right here, I asked it to do a temperature of 8. So I asked it to be pretty creative. I gave it a bunch of information. I want it to be kind of creative when it writes my bio. I don't want it to just sound like some, super vanilla, bland, boring, this is all of his accomplishments kind of bio. So that's what I'm going for, and that's what temperature is. And you can experiment with this a little bit. Anything below a 5, I think 2 to 5 is probably what the default is in 3.5 and 4. 4 is probably a little bit more creative. It probably gets higher, like a 5 or a 6. But I think 3.5 is very deterministic. It's really just trying to find the most probable outputs. That's really focused on what you're asking for, so it can repeat itself a lot. So it punched me out a bio, and it was really, really good. It was like 97% on point. I would probably fix it and I would keep it. So when I say 97%, 95 to 97% is about how I feel about most of the stuff that comes out of ChatGPT. I'm almost always taking that and putting it into something with Grammarly on it, and then I'm using Grammarly to fix the grammar. I find that ChatGPT is can get really wordy sometimes, and ChatGPT and Grammarly will kind of tighten that up for you a little bit, and it'll make it read a little bit better. So I'm usually going through there, and then there's always errors. So there are always mistakes. So I always go through and I read it and I try to get all of the errors out. Now, the other way to do that, so that's feeding it all of my information. And again, you can click on the link below and I'll give you all of those prompts so you can just copy and paste the prompts. I also have a copy of the slides there so you can kind of see the slides and what the expected output is as well. So the other way to do this is to ask it questions. And I did this a couple of different ways. I said, I want you to write a professional about page for my website. What do you need to know about me in order to create this bio? And it gave me a list of questions. It gave me 10 questions. What's your name and title? Tell me about your background a little bit, your professional achievements, areas of expertise. So that's one way to do it. What I also did is I went in there and I changed the temperature and I said, hey, can you create me another list of questions with a temperature of 0.9? Because I wanted to get a little bit more creative with the questions. And so it did do that. I asked it another way to do that, and again, that prompt is going to be there. So I asked it 3 different ways to give me questions because I wanted to see what the questions were. And then what I basically did is I responded, and so you notice that those questions were numbered. All of these questions are numbered. So all I did is I answered the questions. I just wrote the answers. I wrote number 1, and I answered the question. I wrote number 2, and I answered the question. So you want to reference the question you're answering, be as complete as possible, but your grammar isn't important. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect grammar, but you want to be as thorough and as complete as you can with all of the questions. The other thing you can do is you can record the answers and transcribe them. Just reference the question number. So if you want to use your phone and do the memos on your phone, just say question number 1. My professional experience is this, and then just talk in as much detail as you can. Then you're going to transcribe that, whether you're using Descript or Loom or some other transcription service. You're going to transcribe that, and then you're going to upload that transcript, and then you're going to go through the same exercise. So those are the 2 ways. You can either ask ChatGPT to give you a list of questions and you can answer those questions, but probably the better way is to take all of your existing bios, because you put some thought into those at some point. But if you're like me, you probably set up your bio when you set up your account, and then you didn't really go back and look at it. Now, I'm kind of an early adopter, so I've been on these platforms for many, many years. So I've probably gone back and updated my bio at least once in 10 years, but maybe not much more than that. So putting all your bio and your reviews in there or answering questions. I think adding the bios and the reviews is going to give you a more desirable output, but 100% I want you to try both. because everybody's result is always going to be different. And again, it also depends on whether or not you already have content out there, and if ChatGPT can get information about you um, uh, outside of having to upload your own information. So now let's talk about bedazzling your bio. This is where it gets fun. You can hire talent to read your bio. So basically, on this particular prompt, we said, now can you act like Simon Sinek? So Simon Sinek is what? Purpose driven. What's your why? You know, he has a very distinct style, very distinct approach to how business should be done. So that's the bionic bio that I showed you in the very beginning. So my Lender Launchpad bio, you can click on the link below to get the prompts and to see the slides, but I also want you to read that bio. So that is a Simon Sinek bio, and you'll read through the entire thing. It talks about my purpose-driven business and my the why I do things and my values driven mission and things like that. It uses the tone of Simon Sinek. Now, another experiment that I did is, now can you rewrite the bio as Donald Miller using story brand method? If you're not familiar with Donald Miller, he is an amazing author, has some really good books out there about how to tell your story and how to tell your story in such a way that you position yourself as the guide, because on the hero's journey, your client is the hero. You're just the guide, right? So your client is Luke Skywalker, you're Yoda. So that's kind of how Donald Miller works. So was it Donald Miller? I think it absolutely nailed it. When you choose Scott Shang as your guide through the mortgage and real estate landscape, you're choosing a dedicated expert with a proven track record of helping others overcome financial challenges and achieve their homeownership goals. With Scott's unwavering support and commitment to providing accurate, helpful information, you can confidently navigate the path to homeownership and build a brighter future. So that sounds a lot like Donald Miller. If I didn't do that, it sounds a lot like me, but I can have it sound like Donald Miller. I can have it sound like Simon Sinek. I can have it sound like Seth Godin. I can have it sound like Malcolm Gladwell. We even tried it with sounding like Oprah, and it didn't really sound like Oprah. It sounded like Oprah was inviting you onto her show. It was really, really funny, and it was really, really cool. And I love it. I love it. You go ahead and put that kind of a spin on it. If you like that approach, if that's your branding, if that's your value system, if you adhere to a specific value system that's pretty well defined in Simon Sinek's books or Donald Miller's books, then go ahead and use that framework to tell your story. That's the power of what ChatGPT, that's one of the great superpowers that ChatGPT can do. So then finally, I just asked it to break it down for me. Now I want you to create social media profiles for me using the first version of this bio. So that wasn't Simon Sinek and it wasn't Donald Miller. I just had it use the one from based off of my information. And I asked it to write Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and a Google My Business bio, each one using the appropriate language and length for each platform. And I made the temperature 5 because I didn't want to make it bombastic. I just wanted to be somewhat neutral, not super, super creative. Again, this is just my experiment. I'm playing with it. You can make it a 0.8, 0.9. You can make it a 1.0 if you want, just to try it out. So if you did the experiment at the beginning and you said, who is your name in mortgage or in real estate or in whatever business you're in, and nothing came up, don't worry. There's an old Chinese proverb that says the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. And so that's what we're going to do today. If you're not coming up, there's still time. Your reputation and your reach is established every time you publish content that can be accessed by the search engines. So when we do this exercise and we put and we update our bios, we max out our bios, we upgrade our bios, we make bionic, bedazzled bios, and we put it on all of the platforms. You just increased your reach. You helped establish your reputation. And like what we do with my friend Scott Nicholson, he just needs to start creating more content. So I actually did this presentation for his group in Lender Launchpad, and now he's got a fire under his butt, and he's starting to create more and more content that can be indexed, that can be found by these search engines. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you learned something, and by all means, please go out there, upgrade your bios. This is the lowest hanging fruit. This is the easiest thing we can do to be found on AI search. And quite frankly, this is the easiest thing we can do to get access to the biggest audience of prospects, of home buyer prospects on the internet, which is those folks that are on Google and YouTube. And that's why I implore you to keep investing in creating content. I'm going to be here for you. All of my articles are here for you. If you're looking for a done for you solution, I've got links to the Find My Way Home Expert Network down below in the description. Feel free to check those out. And if not, just take this, swipe it. You can grab the slides. You can grab my prompts. Whatever you do, go out there, establish yourself as a second opinion loan officer, create that content, be found, earn that business, and just keep going out there and educating and empowering consumers, and you can't go wrong. So I hope this was helpful, and we will see you next time. Bye.